also a person who says that there's no business case for the development of those projects, even though 15 private sector proponents tried to get LNG projects built here in Canada in the last 9 years since he's been government. They've blocked it all.
Questions and comments? The honourable for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Sure, my honourable friend from Lakeland was asking rhetorically if the word treason was too strong. Let me just put on the record the word treason is far too strong. And my dear friend from Lakeland, I'd just like to say I don't think anyone would ever imagine that the MP from Lakeland was cowering. We're friends, but we don't agree on this. And let me just point out the many ways in which I found her speech varied from my understanding. There is a global shift away from fossil fuels. Check the recent report from the International Energy Agency, which verifies that of energy spending globally, renewables are increasing the pace at which they are a greater investment globally. And this is investment from people who want to make money on the investments they make, greater investments in renewables than in fossil fuels. In Germany, they reached the lowest level of coal use in their history while having renewables over 50% last year. When you look at Sweden, they brought in a carbon tax in 1991, and they've expanded it to now it's 122. I'm sorry, I'm running out of time. I can see from the speaker. Just to say, let's try to agree on shared facts and movement.
The honourable member for Lakeland.
Well, last summer, of course, Sweden actually paused all efforts as its official government policy now towards net zero, and they're ramping up the production of fossil fuels. And Germany last year actually brought more coal online than ever before in history. So we can quote the International Energy Agency, or we can actually look at the examples of individual countries who have gone way farther down this road in this policy agenda and see what's happening now. Now they're facing the consequences of high, expensive bills, of expensive essentials, of expensive and unreliable power, of collapsing agricultural communities in rural areas, of collapsing secondary and tertiary job creation of the private sectors dependent on oil and gas. I think that the member sort of is making a false dichotomy that isn't coming from conservatives. Conservatives are recognizing the fact that oil and gas development as private sector investments are the biggest investors in alternative energy and in clean tech and fuels of the future. We are saying, don't cut that off at the knees to the detriment and to the peril of Canadian workers and the Canadian economy, Canadian security, Canadian self-sufficiency, and Canadian energy independence in order to force, not something that's just happening, the economy into the exact same situation that these other countries are already in, which is citizens protesting and governments rolling back those bad agendas.
Reprise le débat.